we're still looking at the different sectors of the economy. We'll delve into health, but now 12 months into his administration, we want to find out from individuals how exactly they feel President John Dum Mahama fared in the fight against illegal mining, because the environment is key. And we have been pushing the hashtag No to Galamsey agenda here at JoyNews, while several interventions we know have been rolled out, including the establishment of NIMAs to coordinate enforcement and remedy efforts on the ground as well. And also questions have also been asked about the effectiveness of some of these measures. The Blue Water Guard, for example, they have been deployed as well. We know that some of our forest reserves have been reclaimed, but then really yesterday we heard from our president saying that our water bodies are beginning to clear. Is galamsey still surging? Is it being contained? What is the verdict? And are Ghanaians really proud of this administration? Let me bring in Member of Parliament for Swami and Member of Parliament of Ad Hoc Committee on Environment, Science and Technology, John Darko. Also joined the conversation is leading member of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Engineer Ken Ashigbe. We appreciate your time, gentlemen, here on the pulse. I'd like to start with you, John Darko. What's your assessment of this administration performance as the minority, even before we delve into your assessment of the fight against galamsey?
All right, thank you very much, my dear, and good afternoon to the good people of Ghana. I have been observing the president so far when it comes to his fights against galamsey. That is, even if there's a fight, I think that it's been abysmal, to say the least. The president has chosen his poison when it comes to us as a people of Ghana. He decided that he would rather there is praise for him for stabilization of the city than the protection of water body. The president and his team, the government right now, has become the major enabler of galamsey in the country. They are the ones propping up the people engaging in galamsey by buying the gold from this illegal source.
These allegations we cannot prove, John.
So they are buying this gold from these illegal sources and giving it to a gold board. As a result of that.
But these allegations we cannot prove. You're not pleased with the work of the Blue Water Guard, NIMAs?
As a result of that, you see that the city has stabilized, the gold prices are up, and oil prices are down, and so there's some stability in the system. The president is taking praise for that. The president should be ready to take the blame for neglecting the very downtrodden people he claimed to support. The president should take blame for the destruction of our water bodies. If you go to a place like Nzima.
John, you're making allegations we can prove, but you're not pleased with the work of NIMAs? You're not pleased with the work of the Blue Water Guard?
If you go to a place like Nzima, on the way to Mahama Beach, where the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources generally hails from, is getting worse. Ghana Gas's right of way is being destroyed by illegal mining activities. Our water bodies right now, go to Takwa, there's no water in the Takwa Township. No water is flowing through the taps in Takwa Township because of galamsey. The forest is completely destroyed. No water for the citizens in Aboso, in Takwa, Trisia, Wasa, Bogoso. We don't have water for them because our water bodies have been destroyed by illegal mining activity. In the last 12 months, the president is taking praise for the stability of the city because the president and his team are buying gold from these people, from the illegal mining people, from galamsey people. You understand?
Allegations we cannot prove, John.
So, my dear, the people of Ghana are watching. The people in these communities are watching. They are dying from diseases as a result of the pollution of the water body, as a result of exposure to toxic chemicals. We have a lot of birth defects in our community.
Raise the performance of this administration.
This is what the president is doing to the people of Ghana.
Rate the performance of this administration when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. If 10 is the highest and 1 the lowest.
I'll give them 0 because, look, we are not asking for the establishment of these institutions. We are asking for action. Since the president set up the team, what has happened to the fight against galamsey? Look, it is even worse. Right now, it's open display on your way from Tarkwa to Kumasi. And Joy, I must admit that you are the only group who are doing well with this galamsey fight. So please take your team to Tarkwa, take your team to Bogoso, take your team to Wasa, take your team to Amenfi. Let them drive on the Tarkwa to Kumasi road. Let them try to use find out from them the Ghana gas right of way. Let them try to walk through that and see the dangers illegal mining is causing to us, and the fact that it is now open season for these illegal mining people, because for many of them, they believe that their government is in power and the government is shielding them. They are making money. The government is making money, and now they can take all the praise.
But how do you respond to critics who say really that under the NPP administration, you had a presidency that put his presidency on the line? And yet the fight against illegal mining is where it is today. How do you respond to critics?
So in the last 12 months, I can say that this president has performed abysmally.
John, it appears you're not answering my questions. You are setting your questions.
In the last 12 months, we are assessing the Mahama's government. Look, it's past 12 months. Let's talk about what's happening in this country. Let's not be doing this to ourselves. We keep referring to the past administration. I think that it's past time now. We have to be looking at what is happening in this country now. And so far, Joy, what we've been doing today, I've been listening to your news. You are assessing His Excellency the President's administration in the last 12 months. Is that not what you are doing?
Indeed.
So why?
Indeed, but then it's important that we just get the conversation perspective. I just wanted to know how you respond to critics, especially because you say that you rate this administration 0 in the fight against illegal mining. We'll delve into other areas. Stay with me, John. Let me bring in Engineer Ken Ashibe just to get his own evaluation of this government's interventions and their impact when it comes to the fight against illegal mining. What's your assessment?
Well, thank you very much. Well, I think we need to concede that the current president had shown the will to fight this menace that is eating us up. The current Minister for Lands and Natural Resources has also, been at the forefront fighting it. One of the things I judge him positively is that when he took over as acting Minister for Environment, finally we've gotten this obnoxious LI repealed. We have seen Operation the NIMOS and what they've been doing and the impacts they have been making. So when the president talks about the turbidity of a particular water body hasn't improved from Coffee to Milo, though you and I know that we don't really measure turbidity with those. But again, trust the president with his communication prowess, wanting to use that to drive home that. That river body that the president was talking about was Ayensu. And the reason why you find out that Ayensu has improved is because NIMOS has done some extensive work in that particular area. And so that's what tells you that if we're able to do what NIMOS has to do, it would have been better. And you know that when we met the CSOs, so when the CSOs met with His Excellency the President, one of the initiatives that was mentioned was the fact that we're going to have NIMOS have permanent bases in some of these particular areas. Unfortunately, that has not happened. I've heard Parkwesi Sandoff talk about the fact that it will be done in the second quarter. So that's one of the challenges that confront us. The interesting thing is that for us at the coalition, one of the asks that we had of His Excellency the President was that we should be doing some monitoring of the water bodies, looking at the turbidity of the water bodies to be able to ensure that we are tracking properly to see whether some impact is happening. We also had mentioned the need for tracking forest recovery or destruction to see how that was happening, testing the level of heavy metals in our soils and all of that. Unfortunately, if that's been done, we've not seen the results. But we, as the coalition, we've done some work. And so if you take TBDT, for example, the only place where you are seeing TBDT show some good numbers, 11 NTUs, is at the source of the Brim River at Apampam. That is showing 11 NTUs. In the same period that we're doing it between November, December last year, you find out Chebi is doing over 6,000 NTUs. Osino is doing around the same. Bonso is doing over 16,600 NTUs. Akim Odan is doing above 2,000. And you all know that the WHO standard is 5 NTUs. And then when you also want to look at the dissolved oxygen, the DOs in the water bodies as well, it's only, you will find out that it's only at a pum that you're doing 6.83 megagrams per liter. The rest of them are all in hypotoxic areas where the oxygen level is low for fish and many of the species to be able to go into. And then you would look at the issues around heavy metals. Arsenic is showing very high. Again, it's only a that is showing arsenic levels that are below the 0.1 milligram per liter level. Mercury, the same thing. Lead, the same thing. Cadmium, the same thing.
So we're not out of the woods yet, are we?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we really are not out of the woods. And there's a lot of, and currently there's one new risk that has come. What is happening is that these illegal miners are bringing people from Burkina Faso to come and do cyanide leaching. And they call something they call in situ leaching, where in the pits, they pour the cyanide in there. But, the large-scale miners would use cyanide under the regulation of the Minerals Commission and the EPA. And these, when they do them, they line the bottom of this and the sides of it so that the cyanide does not leach into any of our water bodies. Unfortunately, somewhere in the Ashanti region, it had to take the intervention of the EPA to ensure that a borehole which was closed by that place that had high levels of cyanide in it, they were able to prevent the community from drinking. What that would have done is that it would have wiped out that community. So the risks are also in there. So those are challenges that we have.
What would you like to see in the second administration of this government when it comes to addressing the fight against, second year, the fight against galamsey?
What do we want to see? So what we want to see is, the issues around NIMOS. We need to provide NIMOS with the resources that are required to ensure that they can form permanent bases in some of these hotspots. As we do the same thing, we should do a similar thing for the Forestry Commission. Let's turn the Forestry Commission guards into proper paramilitary teams, arming them, providing them with superior firepower than what most of these environmental criminals, have. And then build bases for them in these forest reserves, like we do for the Game and Wildlife Reserve people, where they live within the areas. So that has to be done. Another challenge that we have faced is the lack of prosecution. When it comes to, and we are not seeing convictions and all of that. So definitely the Attorney General, the IGP, together with the Chief Justice, working together with His Excellency the President, we need to have a framework that would ensure that there will be effective, convictions, prosecutions and convictions of people who are involved in this. Then you remember in 2024, His Excellency the President, when he was a candidate, had talked about, rightly so, that the root cause of this is the kingpins. Unfortunately, we are not seeing, the dealing with the kingpins. So one of the things we want to see is how His Excellency the President, working together with his ministers and all, would deal with the kingpins who are involved in galamsey. What is happening to Akonta mining the case? What's happening to that? We have the Professor Frimpong Boateng's report that is replete with a lot of politically exposed persons who are involved in it. What is happening to the two that the president asked the Attorney General to get Iyoko to investigate? We're not seeing that. So again, that should be that is something that we need to do. Very importantly is that we should not have MCs and DCE sitting in their various communities where they are head of the security committee and head of the mining committee, and expecting the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources to be dispatching NIMOS to come into their communities. What the president has said that one of their KPIs is galamsey, but we're not seeing that also happening. So it is important that we hold these MCs and DCs to account. Anybody that has galamsey happening in his community is either too incompetent to represent the president, or he himself is complicit in the illegality that is happening. So His Excellency should hold them also accountable. And another group of people that should be held accountable is the chiefs. There is no way that you and I can go into any of these communities. The chiefs talks about the fact that they don't give licenses and all. But decide that even you have a cutlass or a hoe and you are going to farm on any piece of land. So if there's a chief that allows galamsey from happening on his land, and he himself is not out there screaming that we should come and help him, like the chiefs of Jema, for example, who are preventing these things from happening, and some of the other communities that are fighting against this legal. The government, we should pass a law that gives the power to the government to be able to confiscate those lands from these particular chiefs, and then get some reclamation done, and so then the land will be kept to the government. So we need to be a lot more tougher on this issue of galamsey than we're doing.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ken Ashibe, for your time here on The Pulse. Let me wrap up with John Darko. Just your assessment. You have told us that you rate this administration 0 out of 10. What would you like to see change, especially in the second year of this administration? John, you have to unmute for me to hear you clearly.
Okay, I'm back, right?
Yes, you are back.
Yes, yeah. So I said that Mr. Ashibe has said a lot as regards what the president should do. I believe that the president has to gather the political will to fight those who are engaged in this activity. Look, if we don't fight this head on, this country is heading to a collapse. If we allow galamsey to continue to fester the way it is going, we're going to be in trouble. So the president should see this as a national security issue. And that is why some of us earlier on believed that the president should have declared state of emergency in order to really tackle this. But he, in spite of the fact that he had promised the people of Ghana, he and his party had drummed home this idea of declaring state of emergency. When he won power, he forgot that that was his main promise. So the president reneged on this promise. I believe that if we are to win this battle, the president must declare state of emergency. We need to gather all the political will to fight it. And if he does that alone, I believe that all the others will follow. And of course, it will include even prosecuting the campaigns in the industry.
Thank you so much, John Darko. We appreciate your time here on The Pulse. You're so much.